Okay, Lee Spence from the Essex River Cultural District.
Thank you. Several speakers said they have notes because to remember things. I have notes to try to keep me to 3 minutes. I'm going to talk about an exhibit we did, Women of Essex, Stories to Share. This rose out of the recognition that the Shipbuilding Museum, Essex Shipbuilding Museum, which I was the past president, we had wonderful stories about men building ships. Someone finally said, hey, what's going on? What about the women of Essex? And we got a wonderful a group of women together, did some research. The late Jenny Stevens started a 2-year research project on this, and it was completed by about a half dozen other people working on it. My role was, as past president of the museum, was sort of a coordinator watching these wonderful stories emerge. We were delighted to find out over a dozen women that made significant contributions in Essex. They included Madame Varney and the women that built the first meeting house. The people of Ipswich didn't want a meeting house in Essex. The money would go over there. But the women in Essex found a way to do that, and a few of them ended up in jail for a short time as part of the problem. Yeah, there you go. Annie Gosby, she was a professional baseball player in the All-American Girls League. She played for someone like, I think it was called the Minnesota Chicks or something, but that's in the past. Teresa Eisenhower, she was a former director of public welfare in Essex and instrumental in building both affordable housing and a commercial retail complex, both of which are very successful today. Cilly Blackwell, she was an auctioneer. She was one of the first women auctioneers in the country, and she was a major factor in getting the Essex antique stores to collaborate, which was quite an accomplishment at the time. Dorothy Elwell, she was great. She was the telephone operator, and she knew everything that was going on in town. For those of us that remember what telephone operators are, I think most of you are old enough to know about that. And finally, in a very touching story, Sabrina, who was a slave, and she was owned by the Choate family and later freed. So this was, the exhibit opened in the museum in early 2017 during Women's History Month. Then it went to the Essex Town Hall. This November and December, it will be at the National Park Visitor Center in Salem. So it's another chance for people to see it, and I hope some of you get down there to see it. I've got to mention, before they call time on me, the exhibit was funded in part from the gift from the Massachusetts Cultural Council Cultural Investment Portfolio, and I do have a notebook with me of showing some of the slides if any of you are interested in that. Also, the only thing I want to say, the only thing I know like this is the in Provincetown. For those of you who've been out in the pier where the ferry is, there's a wonderful exhibit called They Also Face the Sea, which was portraits of 4 or 5 women that had roles in the fishing industry and wives of fishermen in Gloucester. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.